There were more than 180 fires that tore through large parts of the Adelaide Hills throughout the southeast of the state, and of course across the border into regional Victoria as well. And it was really the perfect storm. There hadn't been much rain that year. Temperatures were really high. There was an abundance of fuel loads and strong winds created fire fronts kilometres wide. And the losses were in their numbers in a devastating way. There was 2,080 square kilometres of land that was burnt, 2,800 homes lost in Victoria, 383 homes here in South Australia, but sadly 75 lives were lost. 28 of those were South Australians and 17 firefighters in total.
Rob, you were Deputy Chief Officer back then. What do you reflect on a day like today?
Well, no, I wasn't the Deputy Chief back in 1983.
No.
I was actually a volunteer firefighter. So there was a fire at Tea Tree Gully where I was a volunteer, and spent some 8 days continuous dealing with that fire. So it's a different landscape and a different environment we find ourselves in now compared to 1983. I remember that day as if it was yesterday. It was over 40 degrees. The relative humidity was below 10%, and the wind was just amazing with a horrendous dust storm, which made it difficult because we couldn't actually see the fire. We could smell it and hear it, but we couldn't actually see it because of the dust. But then when we did eventually see it and we started to put it out, the wind was just horrific and took the fire and spread very quickly.
Yeah, Rob, we're looking at the pictures now and just the ash that covered that area as that fire went through. When did you know, at what point in the day did you know that you were facing something so big that was going to be a massive challenge?
Oh, I think in the lead up, the weather forecast leading up gave us an indication of the day, but certainly that morning when I got up to go to work that morning, it was already very warm, warmer than what it is this morning here in Adelaide. It's already 29 degrees here in Adelaide now. The wind came, and then the dust storm. As the dust storm blew across in the morning, it was quite an eerie sight and feeling. And then when we had the report of the fire on Perseverance Road at Tea Tree Gully, just made your heart race, knowing the types of conditions and whether we were actually going to be able to stop this fire.
Why is today so important to mark it and reflect on the resilience? What does it mean to you all?
Yeah, I think with every devastating event, and there's a number of those going across Australia at the moment in the north of the country, and with our brothers and sisters over in New Zealand. But the community always bounces back, and that's the resilience that the community show. They pull together, and they come out of these events. Not necessarily stronger, but they're a lot closer knit, and it's amazing to see how people pull together, and that's that resilience about people getting on with their lives. Whilst they've suffered significant tragedies, the resilience really comes to the fore, and it's amazing to see how the communities pull together and recover from those events. So it's about, whilst it doesn't sound appropriate to say celebrate, but we really are celebrating the resilience of the community, whilst also mourning the losses that have occurred from bushfires.